Hi, I'm Fran Foster, past master of Setauket Lodge in East Bridgewater. With me tonight is Right Worshipful Arthur Richardson, past district deputy of the 29th Brockton Masonic District, and also a past master of Setauket Lodge. We're going to explain something about Masonry tonight, about the officers and their duties. As I said, I was a past master. On November 4th, I was replaced in the normal progression of election of officers. The new master is Dick White of Bridgewater. Setauket Lodge has a 2-year line of officers, usually replaced every 2 years, but he serves the first year and then is re-elected for the second year. So, Arthur, you're the past district deputy of the Brockton 29th Masonic District. What is a past district deputy and what does he do?
Well, Fran, a past district deputy is about the same title as a past master. A district deputy, when he is in office, is the go-between between the Grand Master of the state and the local lodges of the district. In the Brockton 29th District, as you know, we have 8 lodges. One of our lodges dates back as far as 1797, and the newest lodge was instituted in 1941. But the district deputy, of which there are only 44, I believe, in the entire state of Massachusetts, has to make visitations to all the lodges, has to examine their books, and report directly to the Grand Master. If there is a problem with the lodge may go to the district deputy, and he in turn, if he cannot solve a problem, will bring it directly to the Grand Master. In other words, he's sort of the go-between between the higher-ups and the local lodges.
All right, the master of the lodge is called a worshipful master. Can you tell me where the term worshipful comes from?
Well, Fran, the term worshipful dates way, way back to Old English. I believe it was in the Wycliffe Bible, part of the 10 Commandments stated, instead of honor thy mother and father, it said worship thy mother and father. It means honorable, or as it has come to mean in this day and age as far as Freemasons are concerned, one who is worthy of worshiping God, one who is worthy of worshiping the Supreme Being.
All right, interesting. All right, now the master of the lodge is an elected officer, as is the top 5 officers. You have the master who is elected by the membership to be the master. You have the senior warden, the junior warden, the treasurer, and secretary are all elected officers. The rest of the officers are all appointed by the master, and it kind of indicates when a person is appointed as a lower officer that the master has enough confidence in that person to say, someday, through the progression of things, you will be master, deserving of being master of a lodge.
The other officers in the lodge are the senior and junior deacons, senior and junior stewards, the marshal, the tiler, the organist, and probably one of the more important posts as far as I'm concerned is the chaplain, who conducts the religious ceremonies of the lodge. No lodge can be opened, cannot do any business until the Holy Scriptures are opened upon the altar. And I think that's important for people to know.
Yes, we are not a religious society, yet we are based on religion. Like Arthur says, we have the Bible opened on the altar at every meeting. There is a non-denominational prayer read before the meeting and at the close of the meeting. Now, we'll get back to the master here for a moment. The master is the ruler and governor of the lodge. It is his to do as he sees fit. There is nobody in that lodge that can overrule the master. The only people that are capable of overruling the master and his decision are the district deputy grand master or the grand master himself. To put it in terms that you might be able to understand a little bit better, the master of the lodge is something like a quarterback on a football team or the CEO of a corporation. He sets the pace. He calls the shots sets the agenda for what is to be done during throughout the year by the lodge. The senior warden assists the worshipful master in carrying out those duties. The junior warden also assists. The top three officers become the committee on finance. They become the committee on charity. The junior warden sets up the meals and collations. And then later on, all right, the senior deacon, what does he do?
Senior deacon, put it this way, a master of a lodge who has a good senior deacon has a gold mine, because the senior deacon has a very important part in all the ritual work, especially in the degrees. The senior deacon has a tremendous amount of ritual to learn, and it is very, very important that he does it properly, so that a master who can depend upon his senior deacon really has something worthy of cultivating, keeping his friendship really great.
As the officers progress, the first officer that has any ritual at all is the senior steward. He has, one paragraph, I think it is. The junior deacon has about one line, I think.
Except in the first degree.
Except in the first degree.
The first degree, he does question the candidate at the door.
All right. Then the senior deacon, he is expected to do a lot more. He is involved in every degree, vitally involved in every degree.
Very much so.
He conducts the candidate all the way around the lodge to each of the officers' stations. The Tyler, he's an important job.
The Tyler was stationed outside the lodge room to see that no one passes or repasses except those who should be there.
The secretary of the lodge, incidentally, I took over as secretary when I left as master, is another important job. He sends out the notices, he keeps track of all of the dues payments, keeps track of all the members, he receives all the correspondence from Grand Lodge and sends all correspondence to Grand Lodge.
In speaking about dues, I think this is something that some people have a real bad thought about. When I first joined Masonry, or when I became master of Setauket Lodge, I received a letter from a very good friend of mine who really knew nothing about Masonry, and said that how could I possibly afford the thousands of dollars that it took me to attain that post? Well, when I explained that my initiation fee for all 3 degrees was a total of $75, and at that time my total yearly dues were $35 a year, they took a deep breath and stepped back a step or two. There's no such thing as thousands of dollars being spent. It all comes from within. And that's part of Freemasonry. It's not necessarily what your job is. It's not how much money you have. It's what's inside your heart. A true Freemason first believes in the brotherhood of all man under the fatherhood of God. And
yeah. You spoke about the dues. All right, right now our dues are $40 a year. A good part of that goes into Grand Lodge for their charitable uses, to support the Shriners Hospital, the Alzheimer research, the schizophrenic research.
Don't forget the Masonic Home.
And the Masonic Home out in Charlton.
Masonic Home in Charlton was the old Overlook Hotel, and they took, I believe, the Grand Lodge bought that in
1905, I think it
It was
is.
the early 1900s.
Yep.
And anybody can go out there and take a tour through this place. They recently had an inspection, as all nursing home facilities must have, and they were among either one or one of very few that had 0 deficiencies reported for 2 years in a row. That's something to be very, very proud of. In fact, when I took my first tour through there, in fact, when I got there, the lady at the desk said, well, go ahead. I said, well, nobody to go with me? She says, no, do whatever you want. I was stopped on the second floor by one of the cleaning ladies, and she said, are you a Mason? I said, yes, I am. And she says, well, she says, you know, you men have done yourself real proud. She says, I've worked in many nursing homes in my lifetime, and I won't say she was an elderly lady, but she'd probably shoot me. But she says, I have never in my life seen people taken such good care of as they are here. I walked through the dining area several times, as a matter of fact. I was asked by one of the residents if I had gotten lost yet, and I told him no, not really. But on my way back past, I saw a lady setting the tables for lunch. Every single piece of silverware and glassware and chinaware that she put on that table was held up to the light and checked. She didn't wipe anything.
She didn't need to.
She didn't need to. I must have watched her for 5 minutes. She didn't know I was there.
Yeah.
And every single piece. I was particularly thrilled about that.
That shows the care and caring that goes into the care of the patients at the Masonic home.
Masonic home originally was open strictly to Masons and their wives. Recently, it has been open to Masons and their nuclear family, meaning their sons, daughters, and it has been extended to in-laws as well.
Yep.
Unfortunately, there are people that need that care, and it's just a fantastic place to go. I can't say enough about it. When you go there, the people are so happy. I saw a gentleman, a brother, Mason actually, and his wife, on my first tour through, and he was standing outside his room, and he stopped me. I said, good morning. He said, hi, got a minute? I said, of course. Introduced me to his wife, showed me their room. They both lived together. They were absolutely tickled to death. They said they had never had such care in all their lives. They were very, very happy to be there.
That's nice. I'm proud to be a part of the sponsorship for that facility.
Definitely.
Every June, the Grand Master has a fair out there, and it is a gathering of Masons throughout the state. They have the Shriners Clowns, they have the railroad running, they have a small narrow gauge railroad that they wind up in through the woods, and they take people on rides. It's a beautiful, beautiful place out there, and it's nice to see that they're cared for.
Every one of the districts in the state of Massachusetts, as well as the Shrine and York Rites, have a little thing to do. So in the Brockton 29th Masonic District, we've been very fortunate to have a Brother George Hebert of Brockton, who is the owner and our chief cook and bottle washer of Estabrooks over in West Bridgewater. George is a clown. From what I understand, he actually ran away with a circus when he was a kid. I haven't followed that too closely. I don't think I dare to, really. But he has been in charge of the 29th District's program for, gosh, as long as I can remember.
20 years, isn't it?
Has it been that long? I wouldn't be surprised. But he runs a little variety show. He has magicians. He has singers. We've been very fortunate. Other districts, such as Nantucket, run a lobster roll booth. $5, and you get a lobster roll. For $1, you can get a plate of 6 quahogs on a half shell.
Wow.
And every single bit of profit goes right directly to the Masonic home. We've been very fortunate. In the 29th, we've been among the top donators for many, many years. It's really a great take. Anybody can come, too.
Yeah, it's open to the public.
It's open to the public.
Yeah.
And it's really great. And I'll give you the date of that. If I could get into my book, I'd look it up.
June 10th, is it?
You would ask. June 9th.
June 9th. Oh, close enough.
That's close. Be a day late, though.
So that's quite a take. If you get a chance to go to see the Grand Master's Fair, by all means, take it. There's clowns, there's railroads, and there's a whole bunch of things going on up there. Getting back to the local area here, you have something here,
Yes,
what it means to be a Mason?
Fran, as you know, and some of the other people know, I have given 4, people call them sermons at my church. Union Congregational, I don't like to call them sermons because I'm not a minister, but I've given 4 talks, and I'm in the process of getting another one ready, hopefully later on this fall. And if you don't mind if I read, I would love to go through part of it at this point in time. Now, it starts off that no one is really sure just when Freemasonry began, but the symbols that we use, the square and compasses and other ones, have been used as far back as the 4th century BC. Writings, actual writings exist that date back to the 800s. There's a little who's who in American history may be found in the ranks of Freemasons, men who devoted their lives and their fortunes to the fledgling United States. Men such as George Washington, Paul Revere, Sam Adams, John Hancock were not only present at the very beginnings of our great country, but were the very founding fathers themselves. Every one of those men were Masons as well. Some 50% of the signers of the Declaration of Independence were Freemasons. The list of Freemasons, not only in the United States, but literally from every country in the world, is nearly endless. We could sit here tonight and really we could have spent the whole half hour just naming names. Garibaldi of Italy, Franklin and Teddy Roosevelt, Winston Churchill, Daniel Boone, Kit Carson, Harry Truman, John Wanamaker, Ron Burton of the Patriots, Red Auerbach, Celtics, S.S. Kresge. They were all Freemasons. Doctors, Mayo, Menninger, Fleming, Rudyard Kipling, Bobby Burns and Burl Ives, Roy Rogers, Ernest Borgnine, Red Skelton, Sibelius, Liszt, Haydn and Mozart. Generals of the Army, Arthur MacArthur and his son, Douglas MacArthur, also adhered to the principles laid down by generations of Freemasons who preceded them by hundreds, if not thousands of years. We take great pride in the men who were Masons before us, and indeed we are privileged to do so. But we do not stop at that as we continue to bring men into this great fraternity who bring the great truths of Freemasonry into their everyday lives. It's true, none of us may ever lead a charge against an enemy in battle, or walk in space, or save a life, or write a concerto. But in our everyday life, our workaday world, if you will, we can and do make a difference. We make a difference by treating everyone on the same level of human decency. We make a difference by giving of ourselves, by donating blood, by giving a square deal, by upholding and maintaining the 4 cardinal virtues of temperance, fortitude, prudence, and justice. But you do not have to have titles or wealth or acting ability to become a Mason. All you need is a basic belief in God and to be a good man. We have had Masons who have been kings, presidents, potentates, emperors, generals, and princes. But millions upon millions of men are just like you and I. Masons are to be found in every skill and profession and walk of life known to man. Doctors, lawyers, firemen, policemen, senators, representatives, judges, engineers, lawyers, garbage collectors too. We join together with men of every country, men who may well have never met each other, due to perhaps to this so-called station of life, have become fast, lifelong friends through the facility of Freemasonry. In the first of the 3 degrees of Freemasonry, the candidate is taught that it doesn't matter his station in life, be he a janitor or chairman of the board. Once he enters the lodge room, all distinctions cease to exist. Millionaires and junk collectors may sit together in harmony within the walls of the lodge. Physical distinctions, race, and religion do not matter to the true Freemason. The only consideration is given to the internal and not the external facets of life. In this magazine, which is called the Trowel, it's the magazine of the Grand Lodge of Masons in Massachusetts, often appear many articles on how the internal rather than the external comes to the forefront when there is a problem to be solved. One such article which appeared recently is titled appropriately enough, The Internal, Not the External. and was taken from the Grand Lodge of Connecticut's publication, The Square and Compasses. And if you let me read this, I think you'll get a little bit better idea of what Freemasonry is all about.
Old age is catching up with you.
Whatever.
Need those spectacles.
This was written by Kenneth B. Hawkins, who was a past Grand Master of Connecticut. With all the negativism we hear today, sometimes a renewed faith in the quality and caring of Masons justifies the reasons for existence. So often, stories of great compassion and the true meaning of Masonry are revealed that make Masons proud of their membership. Late in the evening of October 19, 1993, a 7-vehicle accident closed all of the westbound lanes of I-95 in Greenwich. Seriously injured in the accident was Brother Archibald Pickering, a member of Marine Lodge number 122 of Deer Island, Maine, who was driving a truck delivering lobsters from Maine to New Jersey. It took emergency crews over 2 hours to extract Brother Pickering from the truck, and both of his legs were severely injured. On October 22nd, Connecticut Grand Secretary Russell McClelland received a call from Brother John Agnostus, Most Worshipful Past Grand Master and Right Worshipful Grand Secretary of Maine. He related that Brother Pickering was a patient in Greenwich Hospital and asked if local Masons might visit him. He also asked that they offer Brother Pickering whatever assistance might be necessary and indicated that any expense incurred by the local lodge or its members be forwarded to the Grand Lodge of Maine. Brother McClelland immediately contacted the Master, Don Sargent, and Ernie Roscoe, relatively Master and Secretary of Acacia Lodge number 85. Within hours, several members of the lodge had visited Brother Pickering and his wife Anita. The members arranged accommodations for her at a Greenwich hotel and saw to her needs while in Connecticut. The visits to Brother Pickering also continued on a daily basis. The severity of his injuries caused doctors to advise Brother Pickering to undergo amputation of his left leg. Reacting as any normal person would do under similar circumstances, Brother Pickering hesitated to make a decision. Fortunately, the surgeon knew Brother Charles Windles, a member of Acacia Lodge who had lost a leg. Windles immediately visited Brother Pickering, and after an hour of discussion, the operation was scheduled. And to this day, these two brothers communicate on a weekly basis. After recovery and therapy, Brother Pickering was fitted with a prosthesis. More therapy followed. On November 5th, Brother Pickering was transported by air ambulance from Westchester Airport back to Maine. Upon leaving Connecticut, Brother Pickering was quoted as saying, "I may be leaving my leg behind, but I'm taking back much more in brotherly love." Disregarding the instructions of the Grand Secretary of Maine, the members of Acacia Lodge voted to pay the expenses of Mrs. Pickering and the members of her family who came from Maine, including lodging and meals. What more could be asked of a brother or brothers than was done by the members of Acacia Lodge? Each Mason who took the time to display their brotherly love knows the true meaning of brotherhood. They know that our fraternity stands for more than rules and regulations and rituals. They know we are a society of men who believe that the internal qualifications of a person justify his being a member, for the external knows no compassion. Because of the public's interest in this story, which was publicized in local newspapers, several inquiries have been made by area residents, and some of these have led to applications for membership. What a great lesson for caring Masons.
And you see so many of these stories throughout. Whenever there is a need, Masons fill it.
That's right. That's what Freemasonry is all about. That's why we donate some 22,000 pints of blood a year in Massachusetts alone. Now, 22,000 pints. Do you know what 22,000 pints of blood is?
No.
You don't? Well, I do.
That's a lot of blood.
Because I worked on that, believe me. I needed my calculator. 22,000 pints of blood is 11,000 quarts.
Wow.
2,750 gallons. Now, if you divide 2,750 gallons by 365 days in a year, and you have kids at home, you'll know how much that milk that is and how much blood that is. But it's absolutely amazing. In fact, one of our lodges right here in the Brockton 29th District, John Cutler Lodge, was the first lodge is not correct, the leading lodge in donations in blood in the past year. And I don't know the exact total, so I won't quote it, but I believe it was over 500 pints.
Wow.
Now, mind you, this is not blood donated strictly by Masons. Masons and their families, Masons and their friends. People in the town who know about Freemasonry see the sign and they come in. And I think probably the majority of it is from people who are not Masons, ladies of the lodge and whatnot.
Yeah. But they've got such a great location out there, too, right on Route 18.
Right on Route 18, that's perfect.
Yeah, they have the visibility.
Another thing is finding a need and filling it is the Brockton 29th Masonic District's Veterans Administration Hospitals visitation. This we have been doing for over 25 years now. Every Sunday of the year, Masons from one of our 8 lodges, or more than one of the 8 lodges, get themselves up to the VA, come hell or high water, I guess is the right term, blizzards or not, as we did the day before Christmas this year, as I recall, and escort the patients down to chapel services. Now, this has been going on for 25 years, 52 weeks a year, plus all of the holidays. Wow. Veterans Day, Christmas, Easter, all the special services of the year. And it's quite a thrill. I can remember when I was Master of the Lodge, as a matter of fact, it was a particularly brutally hot summer day when we had it. We went up there and the order of the day was sweat. The air conditioning was broken down in the chapel, and the only air conditioning to be found in the wards was in their day rooms. Well, I picked up a friend, I say a friend, a man. They're not Masons, by the way. Some are, some aren't. Most of them aren't, I believe.
Most of them aren't.
And as we visit them every 8 weeks, because of the 8 lodges in the district taking turns, you tend to see their physical decline, which is really hard to take in some cases, most of the cases. And my charge that day, I had been taking to services for the better part of a year. His voice was on the verge of disappearing. I think this is the only time of the year when I was very happy that I was sweating, because when I got him back to the elevator to bring him back to his ward, he motioned for me to come down so he could talk. And I knelt down, and he said, you know, he said, if it wasn't for you Masons, I don't know what I'd do. He says, thank God for you. Well, I was very glad I was sweating, because I could take out my handkerchief and wipe my face, and nobody knew I was crying at the same time. But, and to end the story, he wasn't there the next time I went.
Oh,
but
sorry to hear that.
But this is one of the things we do. It's a service we do, and we have people that have gone that have literally thousands of hours involved up there.
I know.
Many of them do. I think I'm around 300 hours myself right now, and I'm only a baby in the lot.
Who counts when we're having fun?
That's right. That's right. That's great.
But there are many of these things that the little stories that nobody knows about.
Well, as I said when I had Reverend Gwynn on here, Masons find a need and fill it, be it blood, be it, in fact, a friend of mine in Boston, who is a past district deputy also, is getting up at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning so he can bring a friend of his for cancer treatments.
Wow.
So we're quite a fraternity, and I'm very tickled to be part of it, Franny.
The Shriners Burns Hospital. Every Shriner is a Mason first, and they provide the care for these to the children who are burned very badly.
At no cost.
At no cost.
No cost whatsoever.
At no cost at all. And to go in there, you must have a strong constitution to see those children lying in those beds in the condition that they're in, bandaged from head to toe. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you in future shows. This is Fran Foster and Arthur Richardson. Thank you.